Welcome to the office where our door is always open. I am your host, Coretti Paul, Managing Director of HRWise. Today we are going to be talking taxes. It is tax season, as we all know, and so we felt it necessary to shed some light on the requirements for filing personal taxes and just providing general clarity for our viewers. Joining me to do that is Miss Leslie Ann Modest, who is a tax inspector at the Inland Revenue Department. Welcome, Leslie Ann.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me.
Wonderful. Okay, so Leslie Ann, let's start off by just putting things into context. What is the Inland Revenue Department? What is its role?
The Inland Revenue Department is the branch of the state which is responsible for the collection of revenue. We're not only responsible for income taxes and corporate taxes, but we manage various pieces of tax legislation. So we have stamp duty, we have value-added tax. These are just two of the other tax acts that we're responsible to manage. And just thinking about it, that says a lot, right? So income tax covers corporate tax, covers what we do with self-employed individuals, what we do with employees and also corporations.
Right.
And it's that time of year for all of these entities to file their tax returns.
Yes, I'm sure it's pretty busy for you guys.
It is. It really and truly is. And it is one of our most vibrant, if I want to say, most vibrant parts of the year. For the last quarter of the financial year is the busiest time for the Inland Revenue Department, because that's the time when we see all the clients we've never seen for the other
11 months.
Well, let's say it. But they're there because they have an obligation, and it's that time for them to fulfill their obligation.
All right. So, we're going to focus on one particular tax today, and that's the PAYE. So, can you share with our viewers what is PAYE and why it is necessary for us to actually contribute towards that particular tax?
PAYE is pay as you earn, and that is primarily done by employees. So for an employee, and the majority of us out there, we are employees, whether we're employed in the private sector or in the public sector. It is our time. I like to coin it as this is the time where we get the opportunity to say to the state whether or not our employer has deducted the right amount of tax from our salaries or wages. And the only way that is known is if we file our tax returns.
Right.
And it's very important because we are the ones, and I will say we are the ones who, at the end of the day, we manage that part of our operations. How? By ensuring that we have a right or as accurate a tax code number as possible. The first thing we do when we are offered a job by any employer is that the employer is obligated to send you to Inland Revenue to obtain a tax code number.
Right.
And on that number, you claim for yourself, your personal allowance, your children attending school or not, if a newborn baby, your dependent relative, your life insurance, your medical insurance, your mortgage interest, your house insurance. All these things can be claimed for on the tax code number. Inland Revenue will include it in the number. We provide you with the information which you take to your employer, and they will use that, pay you before you get your wages, deduct the national insurance part of it, and if at all using the tax code number, you are subject to PAYE, that amount is deducted from you, whether you get paid weekly, fortnightly or monthly.
Right.
So employees, January to December, that's our calendar year. During the course of that period, our employer, and we may have multiple employers because we may work for maybe 2 months with one employer, move on to another person for one reason or another, we move on again. So when we're filing our tax returns, we bring in the information from all of our employers.
Right, because you want to reflect what happened during the year.
Definitely, and that is really key because we have some of our clients who come in to file their tax returns, and it is they come in with just one piece of information.
Right.
But on filing your returns, you need to provide the documentation relative to your income and wages from January to December if you were employed for that period of time. and that information is provided by the employer.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the tax code, and we know that this is a requirement for employment.
It is.
So just share with us what is the process that one must follow to be able to get a tax code, and what documents would they require when they actually go to Inland Revenue to get that tax code.
You have two means of getting the tax code form, the application form. It's in hard copy available at our offices, or it is available on our website, but you need to print it and come in, because it's maybe a bit inconvenient and you may not have the time to come and get that. Or some employers actually have the hard copies available for their employees.
Okay.
The basic things, your child, yourself, your dependent relatives, you would know. So you would complete that. Information to the back end of the page is a 2-page document, back and front. Relative to your life insurance, you will tell us and you will put the premium you pay monthly. Your mortgage, if you own your own property, you will need to get from the financial institution the approximate interest you would have paid for the year.
Right.
So you have to go to that institution to get that, and we will include that also. So your life insurance, medical insurance, you know how much you pay. If you're not sure, you call the relevant agency and they will provide you with that.
Right.
And you come in, you sit with our officers, our customer service officers, and it's not long. The process is not long, as long as you have the relevant information.
And that once you have that tax code, that's your tax code for life.
No, that's your tax code at the time.
Right.
A tax code is not fixed. Things may happen to you during the course of the calendar year. So, a typical example, I take up employment in January. I have no insurance, no student, none of these things. During the course of the year, an insurance agent may convince me to take a plan with the institution. Right. At that time, I come in to Inland Revenue and have the tax code changed to include the premiums I will be paying from June to December, and it will make a difference.
Right. As you go on and you get property, you take on additional things that you and adjust that tax code.
And that is an issue too for us. We find persons who come in at one point in time, so they may have taken up employment in 2015. And between then and now, they've had children, they've had dependent relatives, they've taken a mortgage to build their home, but they've never come back to include it. Yes. So it's always wise to come in and update your tax code number as it relates to your circumstances and things that you can claim by law.
Okay, so as your circumstances change, you are required to visit the Inland Revenue Department to get an adjustment done to your code. And that is important because it's going to impact the amount of tax that is deducted from your salary.
Definitely. The base code number is 184.
Right.
And that's just your personal allowance and the base automatic medical that is given to any individual. Yeah. So think about it.
Yeah.
Your children. As you go along, things increase. So the higher the number, I want to clear the misconception, because some persons have the view that
let's clear that misconception after the break. We do have to take our first break now. Viewers, stay with us, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Today we are discussing taxes, and I'm joined by Leslie and Modest of the Inland Revenue Department. Just before the break, Leslie Ann, you were about to clarify something related to tax codes for us.
Yes, I was saying that it's a misconception by most persons that the higher the number, the more tax you pay.
Right.
The higher the tax code number is the less PAYE. So, please let's get it right.
Yeah.
Let's get it right and do everything that is possible when you have a circumstance, your circumstance has changed, to come into us immediately to change your tax code number, and you will definitely see the impact on the PAYE.
Right. All right. So, in terms of eligibility, who is eligible or who is required to file?
all required to file our tax returns, whether an employee or a self-employed individual or a corporation. But the corporations know their responsibilities. They really and truly do that. Where what I want to really reflect on today is for those of us who are employees and self-employed individuals.
Right.
If we are a self-employed individual, the tax department would not know whether you have made a profit or a loss unless you have your income and expenditure statement prepared, complete the tax returns, and submit the returns.
Right.
The same as an employee. So it is not a matter of, my boss didn't take out any tax from me, so I'm not doing that. We have to do it. We are obligated to file our tax returns because we have a source of income.
Right.
And the deadline date to do so is the 31st of March.
So one question people ask, my salary is so small that it is not taxable.
Yes.
Do I still have to file those returns every year?
Yes, you have to file your tax returns. Remember, it is... Whilst I may work for HRWise and earn $3,000 only for a short period of time, I may have worked for other places during the course of the year.
Right.
So you must file your returns. The other thing too, every financial institution, we are doing something at a financial, whether it's a loan or any type of activity with them, you are required to get a compliance letter. And a tax compliance letter, or what is commonly called a clearance,
Right.
in order to obtain one, you had to file your tax returns for 6 years prior to the year in which you're doing that.
So that's a very valid point you want to articulate. It is necessary to file your tax returns every single year,
Yes,
whether or not your salary, whether or not any tax is being deducted from your
That's
salary
right.
every month.
That's right.
Okay, good. And of course, we can see the implications of not filing
Yes.
when we have to go to the bank or to take
Anything.
serious.
Yes, so I'm applying for duty-free concessions with another entity. I'm obligated to come
Yes.
and
For that compliance letter.
Yes.
And the compliance letter is only going to be issued if your taxes are up to date.
If you file your returns, and if perchance over the period of years you file your returns, you may have had a liability and it has not been settled or any arrangement has been paid. All that has to be done prior to the department issuing a compliance letter. And you're business persons, your employees, you don't want that to be a stumbling block in continuing the process of your activities.
Exactly.
You don't
So
want
if you do owe and you have an agreement with the department to pay, that compliance letter is still going to be issued to you.
Yes.
All right.
Because you have made, and you use the right word, you have made an arrangement to pay, you have kept the arrangement, you have been making the payments, so it's there, you have been compliant, we will entertain the compliance request. Yes.
Right. Okay, excellent. All right, so why, I'm not sure, I think you covered it very briefly in terms of why it is necessary for us to file those tax returns every single year.
Every year.
So share with us, what are some of the personal allowances that we will be entitled to generally?
Generally, we have many allowances and deductions, the tax laws. So we can claim, and you do claim, a personal allowance of $18,000.
Right.
If we have our children under 10 years, 1,000. Children 10 years and over attending school, 2,000. And individual whom we have put through to university and are taking care of them and meeting those expenses, 5,000. Our child who is physically or mentally challenged or has a disability, no matter the age, we can claim for that child. Our dependent relative, an individual who generally, because of old age or infirmity, they're unemployable because of that situation, nobody's taking care of them, we can claim for that individual or that relative. 350. Base medical in the absence of insurance or ever having gone, because we know we may have to buy a Fensic or plus something may happen, automatically everybody's entitled to 400.
Right.
Our medical insurance premiums, and a lot of persons do not have medical insurance. You can claim the value of all your medical expenditure anything related to your health, your doctor's visits, your prescribed medications, your scans, your x-rays, because you don't have medical insurance, you are entitled to claim everything you've expended for medical on the form.
So hold on, before you go on, as it relates to medical,
Yes.
is natural medicine and things
Approved,
like
approved
yes,
persons, medical.
acupuncture and all of these.
No, you have to be a certified by the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association.
Okay.
So once a medical practitioner or the professional is approved and certified by the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association,
Then it will be
we
allowed.
will, yes.
Yes, okay.
We
do have to take another break.
Yes.
Okay, so viewers, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. So Lesley, before the break, we were talking about the allowances and we stopped on medical. So can you just continue sharing with us the other allowances?
We have other allowances, and those are for our future benefits, and we speak to our individual retirement savings plans. Some companies have approved pension plans with the department, our life insurance and our national insurance contributions.
Right.
So those are things for the future. So future for you, future for me, once we have part of these things. We also have our mortgage interest, our retirement savings plans for our homes. There's also that. We can take a parcel of that. Our house insurance, house tax, credit union shares, upkeep and maintenance of our homes.
And is there a limit on that one?
Which one? Upkeep and maintenance? Yes, it has been reduced to 10,000.
Okay.
For upkeep and maintenance of our home, we need to provide a detailed description of the work done, itemize it, and submit it. We ask that you retain all your bills for both medical, if you don't have medical insurance, and also repairs and maintenance in your possession. Unless the department asks you to provide that, you retain that. All we want you to attach is the detailed description of that. I spoke to our credit union shares. Traveling, some of us are traveling officers by decree of what we do on our job. So Inland Revenue asks that we have a stipulated travel form that's completed by the employee and the employer, stamped and signed off, their details to be completed, and we'll consider giving it to you as a deduction.
Right.
And any other allowance, when I speak to that, if I am an accountant by profession and I pay an annual fee to my association, I'm allowed to claim that. If I'm a doctor by profession, because to be certified based on our field, and we are part of associations, professional associations, we pay annual fees, we're allowed to claim for that.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't know that last one. Very interesting. Okay. So when should tax returns be completed and submitted? Sorry, when should they be submitted to the Inland Revenue? And what support is provided to persons who may not feel so comfortable going through the process?
So the deadline date for filing tax returns is March 31st. So we actually have 90 days, all employees and self-employed individuals. We have 90 days, but the deadline date is the 31st of March to file your tax returns. We are available to provide assistance to anybody. We are located at customer service, second floor, Blue Coral Mall. We also have offices, another unit, third floor, Bank of St. Lucia. You can go to our valuation office, which is located in Sunny Acres. We are also off-site of our departments, and we intend to be at the Rodney Bay JQ Charles Mall, hopefully the third week in March, because we know there are lots of businesses in the north, and a lot of persons can't come to us in the heart of the town where we at. So we will be out there, our officers will be out there. Over the years, we've offered our assistance to the hotel and tourism sector, and we continue to do so simply because of the hours of work of their employees. They may not be able to get to us between 8 to 4:30. So we have been on site from February at various hotels, assisting the staff of the hotels to complete their tax returns.
Nice.
Yes, so we do that, and we encourage persons to come in and have all your supporting documents, because you can't file unless you have the supporting documents. So For now, I am sure you should have gone out to your insurance companies, your credit unions, your banks, your lending institutions. Your employers should have already given you your income statements, which you need to attach, and have all these things. If you have your child or your relative whom you've put through university, have the supporting documents from the university that indicates they are there full time, and evidence of an expense, be it tuition, accommodation. Have these supporting documents. You should have it on hand. Inland Revenue has gone E. We have gone E, and
fully.
Yes, we are E. So, so on our E platform, which is efiling.govt.lc, you can register first to become an E user. File your returns for any year that you've not done it, up to and inclusive income year 2019. And if you have a payment using your debit or credit card, pay online. That facility is there for employees, self-employed individuals, and corporations. We
can actually pay online today?
You can pay online. So from 2017, our e-platform evolved
to
payments.
Is that e-platform going to evolve to paying us online as well?
We will work on that just for you. Just for you. We will work on that. But
that would be awesome.
It is awesome. It's really and truly awesome that you could be on the beach, you could be in your bedroom, you could be in the comfort of your home, you could start to complete the form and come back to do it because you don't have your supporting documents. You could, in the comfort of your home, within your own time, so you don't have the hassle of coming into our office. You don't have to beat the time,
taking the long queues.
You're saving on time, you're beating the line. So people, let's go online.
But I mean, I definitely support anything because it just makes life so much easier.
It does, and we're going all out to encourage persons to register and to file online. Paper should really and truly be a thing of the past. So for now, we are actively promoting our e-platform. That's one way. Or we have a PDF which you can save from our website. And last but not least, the paper. Like everybody says, I want the blue form. The blue form is still readily available. But for those of our clients who've tried and the e-platform, it's a marvel. It's awesome. So let's go.
I look forward to using it.
That will be awesome.
We are actually out of time, but we will be continuing this conversation. Viewers, thank you so much for staying with us. I hope that you found this segment very interesting. And for those of you who have not filed your taxes, I encourage you to please complete your tax returns and submit them to the Inland Revenue Department before the 31st of March. We will continue the conversation in our next episode, So please feel free to tune in again so you can see what is available. So stay tuned for our next episode where we continue the conversation. Until next time, take care.
The Office is brought to you by Renwick & Company Limited, Multi-Graphics powered by Expert Group and the Goddard Catering Group.